Like, so the agenda is like what is CloudMonkey, features of CloudMonkey, and then how to install it, configure it, and then maybe a small demo. So what we have done is like we're doing it for you. What CloudMonkey does is it's a Python script. It gets all the APIs which are supported by a particular CloudStack version. Then it breaks that into verbs and the elements, and then it gives you an interface where you can say like list and then press tab. It will show you like what you can do with list commands, like list virtual machines or list networks and things like that. So it's kind of handy for exploring CloudStack and also good for writing CloudStack scripts. Like if you want to deploy a basic zone and you do it regularly, suppose you have made some changes to the CloudStack and you want to test it. So what you do is you just write a script based on the CloudStack commands, APIs, and you use CloudMonkey to call those APIs. So it will be a lot easier that way. So features of CloudMonkey. So it has got a thing called API. Supposing like you have changed from one version of CloudStack to another one, and you want to see like what are the new APIs that are added. You might not know. So what you can do is you can just type sync at the CloudMonkey prompt. It will go and discover all the APIs that are readily available in that version, and then you can go and use them. Auto completion, like I said, if you just press tab, it will list all the parameters, mandatory parameters, and the optional ones for you. Reverse search, everyone knows. Like you can also like specify what kind of output you want. Do you want a tabular output or a JSON output which can further be fed to some other command? You can configure it like colored output is necessary because supposing there are 20 networks, you do a list networks. If everything is black and white, when you look at that page, you will not be able to figure out a particular item. Like you would see like where is the network ID. You would keep looking for some time until you find out. So colored output helps there. It can also execute Unix shell commands, so that you need not go back and forth between the CloudMonkey prompt and the shell. So it's helpful that way. So installing CloudMonkey, you can just do a pip install, or in case of CentOS and RHEL, you can use easy install. So before that, you need to install setup tools, which will have the easy install, and you can. So dependencies. So it needs Python 2.5 and above, a read line, and PY pigments, and pretty table. Pretty table is used for formatting actually. So that tabular format and colored format we are generating using this. So this is a typical configuration file. You can see like you can specify the log file. You can say like async block true means like there are calls in CloudStack which are asynchronous. Like it will just call that API and come back. Supposing you want to poll for the result of the job, so you can set this to true. CloudMonkey will poll and give you the result back. If it is false, it will just return the job ID, and you can keep polling on your own. So you can set like color to true or false, which will give you output of colored output or a normal output. Then display default means default display is to display JSON. You can set it to table, which will give you a table like output. And then the secret key and API key. When you are using CloudStack APIs, every user is assigned a secret key, meaning like you are authenticated against it. So you need to mention those keys over here, and then path to the. Supposing if you want to execute a raw API, you can then specify the raw API path over there in the server section. You need to mention the host IP, like what is the endpoint, where is your CloudStack deployed, and then the protocol. You can use HTTP or HTTPS, and the port number. A timeout is like until what time do you want to wait for a response to come back. So that was a typical configuration file. So now how to configure CloudMonkey. So you can just log into CloudMonkey and type these commands. Set host for setting the host IP, then port, secret key, and the API key. So I'll just give you a demo.
You're on the break.
Yeah, this is an upgraded version, but pretty old. I used to use CloudStack since it was developed by Rohit, so it's pretty.
No, but it's 5.0.0. We didn't upgrade to share its new version.
Yeah, it has some problems, so I stick with the old one until the new one is stabilized. So I just did a list zones. It shows like there are 2 zones and the output is kind of tabular. You can like do set. So this will give you a non-tabular output. So I could have shown you a deploy VM, but I think okay. So the Wi-Fi actually doesn't allow system VMs to connect back from there. So I cannot show you deploy VM and all. So this is basically how CloudMonkey works. So you can just suppose you want to see like what are the APIs that are available with list. So you can just click a tab and it will show you all the options like list networks, hypervisors, IAM policies and all. You can also see like what are the create APIs. So it's kind of handy that way. And you can also write shell scripts to deploy zones. If you go and Google out about CloudStack, there is a CloudMonkey. There is a page where you get the script to deploy a basic zone, and you can use that to deploy basic zone instantaneously. Like it will take about 10 to 15 minutes. So that's it. Any questions?
What is the stable version?
The one which I am using is pretty stable. 5.0. 5.0. So if you're writing scripts, it's better to turn off the color thing, because it will give you some extra characters to get that color. If you are using grep and so on, it's better to turn that off and run it in a normal mode.
Can you show an example of using grep?
I have got a script actually. I wanted to run it, but yeah. So if you see like okay, the display is not big enough. So here I'm using grep in the 44th line, like to get the zone ID basically. Once I get the zone ID, I use it to create physical networks and get the traffic types. So these are all the APIs that are called when a zone is deployed. So I'm just calling those APIs in an orderly manner so that you can deploy a zone. So you can get a similar example on the CloudMonkey's website, where there is a script to deploy it for a basic zone. I've just modified it to deploy advanced zone. So you can do whatever like. So
Coloring and highlighting, right? How does that happen today? What do you use for that?
which I showed, like it's using pretty tables. So anything else?
Will you take up questions on CloudStack too?
Yeah, sure.
Recently I'm in photo environment.
CloudStack rocks! Yay! CloudStack rocks!
That's a good one. Thank you so much.
Thank you.